All right, let's get to supporting actress. We have Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Sue also for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Brian, is it Jamie Lee Curtis? Is it Stephanie Sue? Bassett? Does she continue the ball rolling here? What do you got?
This is the hardest category to call in the top 8. Like, this is the really, really tough one because you can make a case, I think. I don't think Stephanie can win. That would be my choice, actually. She's my choice here. I think that would be an amazing win. I think she's the most deserving here. It's the best performance in the category. But I don't think she hasn't won any televised prize, like outside of she won breakthrough performance at Indie Spirits last weekend. That's like the only individual prize she's won. I think she needed to win at SAG for her to have any chance. So I don't think that happens. So I think it could feasibly go to Angela Bassett or Carrie Condon or Jamie Lee Curtis. And it's like where's the wind blowing here? Like what? I think it's going to be very close. I think the smart choice is Carrie Condon because in some ways you could argue that Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis cancel each other out. They're both kind of the older, kind of the legacy seasoned veteran nominee who everybody loves, but you can kind of like cancel them out. Jamie Lee Curtis is also hurt by having Stephanie Shu in the category, like having both of them there. But that didn't factor in at SAG, so you could argue that too. What a lot of people have said is we got to give Banshee something. It might not win original screenplay. Carrie Condon won at BAFTA, and because the category is so chaotic, we're going to give it to the really great supporting performance in Banshees. Carrie Condon takes it. I'm predicting Angela Bassett, and I'm not confident about this. I was kind of leaning toward Carrie Condon for a few days, but then I remembered Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk, another beloved woman of color who everybody adores. And that movie did not do well at the Oscars. It only got into 3 categories, was not in picture. And Regina King was not nominated at BAFTA or at SAG. She won the Golden Globe. She won Critics' Choice. Basically, took a few nights off the next few weeks, came back, and she won the Oscar. And everybody loves Regina King.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of why she won. And Angela Bassett, I feel like, is just one of the titans in the industry. I have loved her since I was a kid. I saw What's Love Got to Do with It when I was very young, probably too young. And she's so great in that movie. She was probably in second place that year. She lost to Holly Hunter for The Piano. I feel like that's one of the acting losses of the 90s that still kind of stings. I still feel like Bassett should have taken it for What's Love Got to Do with It 29 years ago. And she's got 2 dynamic scenes in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And she won the Golden Globe. She won a Critics' Choice. The 2 big pauses I have is that why couldn't she win at SAG? That gives me a little pause. But then I'm like, well, Jamie Lee Curtis won. Maybe it was really close, and Jamie Lee Curtis eked out the win because of the intense love for Everything Everywhere over Black Panther, which isn't like everyone's favorite movie this season. But so it's her loss at SAG, and it's a Marvel sequel that wasn't like the most beloved blockbuster of the year or anything. So that gives me some pause. So I am predicting that the sheer love for Angela Bassett by the entire awards body of the Academy wins the day by just a smidge is what I'm predicting. But I do feel like the smartest choice might be Carrie Condon.
Okay, that's a lot to take in there.
That's a lot. And Jamie Lee Curtis has a shot too. That SAG wins big. She could ride that momentum. People love Jamie Lee Curtis. So that could happen too.
Man, I was utterly fascinated that entire time. I guess you were talking about this category because
a lot.
You make it seem like this is really wide open.
Yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis, SAG was the only thing that she won? Is that right?
She's only won like an individual prize. Like she won Best Supporting Actress at SAG. Carrie Condon won at BAFTA. Angela Bassett has won 2 major televised prizes, Golden Globe and Critics' Choice.
Well, see, that was really interesting because coming into this category, because I wanted to bring up Carrie Condon, and I wasn't sure like if I was on the outside looking in by picking Carrie Condon because I know she won at BAFTA, but it seems like she's been so far behind in terms of the race comparatively
Yeah.
to these others, especially Bassett, who has won these other major awards or these other ceremonies
Mhm.
anyway. Jamie Lee Curtis wins for SAG. Stephanie Sue, had the indie spirits as you're talking about. So it does kind of seem all over the place. I just haven't seen as much conversation around Carrie Condon as much as it's Angela Bassett because of the precursors that she's won and also the power of everything everywhere all at once. Could Jamie Lee Curtis or
Yeah.
Sue just ride the momentum of that film and the what it's doing across the board in terms of all
Yeah.
of these
I
categories.
mean,
So
we're pretty close to early 2001 when a different person won Best Supporting Actress at all five. Like it was
yeah,
the year of like Kate Hudson and Almost Famous, and Frances McDormand and Almost Famous, and Julie
yeah,
Walters and Billy Elliot. Like every ceremony, someone different won. So then we got to the Oscars in March of '01. Like who's gonna take it? And the person who won was Marcia Gay Harden for Pollock,
yeah.
and that she had not won anything until that night.
That's
So,
incredible. That is
so
so
in
incredible.
some ways, I kind of wish like Hong Chow had won at Critics' Choice.
Yeah. So then everybody had dipped their toes in a little
So then
bit.
we'd have four different winners,
Yeah.
and then going into Oscar, I could maybe predict Stephanie Shu to win, which would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
awesome. And it's not impossible. Like if
Yeah.
enough people, like if Everything Everywhere really does well on Sunday night. But I just feel like there's more industry love for Jamie Lee Curtis. She's a much more seasoned veteran, a known name. I feel like more people will check her name off the list than they will Stephanie. That like I just
Mhm.
don't think not enough people know who Stephanie is. Like I don't think that can happen. But
Yeah.
Angela Bassett, I'm like she's like her momentum has faded in the last 3-4 weeks. Like her two big wins started her off strong, and then it's really kind of faded. Like Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is not winning much. Like like for technical stuff and in other
Mhm.
ceremonies. Like, and I wonder if enough people will just be like, I'm not going to vote for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever in acting. Like that's not happening. It's an MCU movie. Like give
Yeah.
me a break. Like there will be
Yeah.
those people, but I also think there's a lot of people who will look down and they'll be like Carrie Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis, okay, but that was kind of a nothing character in that movie. Angela Bassett
Yeah.
is my choice. I feel like there's going to be people who just see Angela's name and just be like, "Yep,
And
my
that's
choice."
fair. Yeah. No, and she is very good in that movie.
That one scene that was in the trailer, like that
Oh,
is a like that's
devastating.
the
Yeah.
most like powerful moment I think in a movie of any of these five nominees. Like maybe
Yeah.
Stephanie Shu at the end in the parking lot and Everything Everywhere. That's also a
Yeah.
great scene. But like in terms of like gravitas, power, emotion, you can feel her pain in that two
Oh,
minute, three
yeah.
minute
It's
scene
palpable. Yeah.
so great. Like
Yeah.
if
No,
they just
she.
play that clip over and over, I think Angela wins.
And look, that's very fair. It's a captivating performance, and given the context and what it surrounds in terms of the meta qualities there, obviously it's very poignant, right? I mean, you can't really separate the real life events surrounding that film and that performance, and maybe the spellbinding nature of that is what draws voters to her. And look, it's a great performance. I do think the best performances though here are Carrie Condon and Stephanie Sue.
Yeah.
I think it should come down to them.
Hmm.
My vote would be for Carrie Condon. She was my personal vote for Best Supporting Actress
Yeah.
of the Year. But Stephanie Sue is again like a 1B or a 1AA. Like those two are really tied as far as I'm concerned. Like flip a coin. Like for me, either one of those winning here, I would be elated.
Hmm.
Jamie Lee Curtis, I admire and respect the hell out of her. She's probably fifth on this list for
She's the
me.
weakest performance here. That would not
Yeah,
be a great win for like the history books. Like as much as I
I
love
agree.
her,
I
it's
agree.
not a great performance. Come on, give me
Yeah,
a break.
I agree. That's like, hey, you've been around for a while. Here's
Yeah.
an award. Like that's one of those.
Yeah, I do
you
feel
know,
like if Jamie Lee Curtis wins, it just proves once again that the winner can just be the one who really schmoozed the most, who really got out there. She has been
she's been
promoting
out.
this movie
She's been out.
hard since March of 2022, like just every day on if you follow her
Yeah,
Instagram and she's just out just like
everything.
on every talk show. I mean in October they were starting to bring up like everything everywhere and she was like, I'm going all in, like I am all in on this movie and we're going to get it some. I mean, she like manifested a lot of this, I think,
She
Jamie Lee
has.
Curtis, and has worked really
Yeah.
hard. If she
Mhm.
wins, I'm going to be like, she kind of like in part won this award through just sheer like determination.
Just work and being out there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, and I do understand why people would want to vote, in that regard. But if we're just talking about performance
right.
in the film, which is, let's be honest, that's what it should come down to. That's
What
not
it
what it comes
should
down
be.
to, but that's what it should be. And she would be fifth on the list. Hong Chow, I really love her in The Whale, and should be in the conversation
Yeah,
more, honestly.
she's great. Hmm.
So I mean, for all the reasons you've talked about, I could see this going a number of ways. My prediction though is Carrie Condon.
Hmm.
I just
Probably
think
the
that's where
smart
the
choice.
Academy is going to go. At the end of it, we'll see how that turns
But
out. All right, let's.
I would love to see Angela Bassett win an Oscar. That would be really
Yeah,
cool.
I would be happy. Yeah,
She's
no, I would
deserving.
not be
She's had
against
so
that.
many great performances.
Yeah,
I'm going with Bassett. Probably wrong, but hey, going down with the
we'll
ship.
see. We'll see. I love that. I love that theory.